All right, so AWS Global Infrastructure Overview. All right, so the topics of this module is AWS Global Infrastructure, AWS Service and Service Category Overview, and then there's a demo on the AWS Global Infrastructure. There's an AWS Management Console kick through, and then there's this knowledge check. Okay, so now so let's see this one. Okay, so here we have in AWS Global Infrastructure designed and built to deliver a flexible, reliable, scalable, and secure cloud computing environment with high quality global network performance. Okay, so to learn about the AWS region that are currently available, we're gonna click on this particular link, right? And then the diagram will show the 22 current AWS regions, as well as a few regions that will become available soon, including Milan, Cape Town, and Indonesia. This is as of October 19. So if I click here, I will get this guy here, right? That is super cool. Now we can click here. We have all the regions in the world, right? So we can just move around and see all the guys here. And it says that there's one in Italy that will be coming soon, right? And there's one in Africa in Cape Town that will come soon as well as another in Indonesia, okay? So this one is coming soon, okay? So we can click here, coming soon here. So these are the regions. Okay. Now we have availability zones, that's it's part of the region. Every region has at least 2 availability zones, right? At least 2. And every availability zone has at least 1 data center. Okay. So right now AWS maintains 77 availability zones around the world, and we continue to add it at a fast pace. There are some local zones as well, and local zones are a new type of AWS infrastructure deployment that places AWS compute, storage, database, and other select services closer to large populations, industry, and IT centers. So that's mostly they are created to be close to the users. Okay. Point of presence, a point of presence. It's just some locations, that AWS has, like edge locations or regional edge cache servers to just deliver the information to the customers, the closest possible to them. Okay, that's a point of presence. And of course, CloudFront is the service that works with these guys. Okay. So edge location contains the information that's most frequently accessed by the customers. Cache locations are the ones here. Regional edge cache servers are the ones that contains the information that is not as frequently accessed as the one that is accessed from the edge locations. Okay. Ground stations is a fully managed service that lets you control satellite communications, process data, and scale your operations without having to worry about building or maintaining or managing your own ground station infrastructure. And also network. It offers highly reliable, low latency, and high throughput network connectivity. Okay, so that's the AWS network. So everything is just small pieces of a big piece, which is the AWS infrastructure, global infrastructure. We also have regions. What is a region? It's a geographical area, region, including North America, South America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. So we have, a lot of regions in the world. Okay, the oldest one and the one that contains the highest number of availability zones is North Virginia, and it contains 6 availability zones. Okay. If you can click on the other ones, that contains three, three, three. You know, they don't have as many as Northern Virginia, which is the oldest one. Okay. So as you can see, the blue ones are the availability zones. We have here 2 in Canada Central. We have like 3 in Ohio. Right? That's the region. Has 3. This one has 3 as well. Right? And this one has 6. See? And each availability zone, like I said before, contains at least one data center. And every data center has between 50,000 and 80,000 servers. Okay? We're gonna speak more about that in a minute. So we have this guy here. So AWS Regions is a geographical area, right? Data replication across regions is controlled by you. You have to replicate the data. It's your responsibility. Okay. There are some services that have native replication that you don't have to do anything, but most services you have to replicate it manually. Okay, so you have to just do some configuration so it can be replicated across regions. All right. Communication between regions uses AWS backbone network infrastructure, right? It's all communication is through private links that are just belong to AWS. Okay. Each region provides full redundancy and connectivity to the network. Okay. So all the regions that were introduced before March 20, 2019 are enabled by default. Okay. So regions that were introduced after March 20, you have to go there and enable it. So if I go to my AWS account, right? What happened here? A moment. Okay, we're here. So if I go to my AWS account and then I just maybe I click on Mumbai, just an example. I'm gonna choose Mumbai. Mumbai is enabled, okay? Because Mumbai was created before. So maybe if I click on Milan, okay? Milan was after March 20, 2019. So here it's already enabled because probably I came here and enabled it. So Cape Town, let's see Cape Town if I have Cape Town here. I enable it too. So if you take a look at your account, you may see that there are some regions that are not enabled. You have to enable it manually. You see this one? Okay. So I have used this account for a long time. So, I have used many of the regions here. It's enabled to. So you have to check your account, guys. Your account's new, and you will see that some of the regions are not enabled by default. Okay. So a region typically consists of 2 or more availability zones. Guys, do you have an idea of why 2 or more? Why 2 or more?
Hurricanes or whatever, any sort of catastrophe.
You need a minimum. You need a bare minimum of 2 to be able to replicate data. If you have
If it's full redundancy.
Yeah, if you have two and one of your regions goes down, then you just lost that
Correct.
application.
So redundancy, right?
Yeah, redundancy. To have redundancy, you need another, at least two.
Correct, correct. So what are the elements that you have to consider when selecting a region? Well, data governance and legal requirements. You have to see what are the requirements and regulations of that region, okay? And then based on that, you select the region because probably your data requires some specific requirement, some specific things that are not allowed in that region, okay? Especially when you are to go to Europe that has a different system and other countries in Europe or in Asia, it's a different system. If it is here in the United States, you know, you may not have any issues, but if it is in another hemisphere, another location that is not the West, you know, you may have some issues with that. So that's something that has to be considered, right? So local laws may require that certain information be kept within geographical boundaries. They don't want that data to go outside of those boundaries. So that's very important when selecting that. So let's consider, for example, the European Union Data Protection Directive. So that's, you know, they have some requirements and restrictions with the data, okay? You have to determine the right region for your services, applications, and database on these factors. Proximity to customers, right? You don't want to have your customers in Japan and have a region in the United States unless you're global, right? So you want to select the ones that are closest to your customers, okay? So to avoid latency, you want to have the least latency possible, okay? Services available within the region. Not all services are available within the region. Not all services are available in an availability zone. So that's very important that you first check if the service is available in the region, and if it is not, and you need that service, then you have to choose a different region where the service is available. Okay. Okay. Next. Costs vary by region. Services may not cost the same in one region as another region. They don't have the same, they don't necessarily cost the same. Okay. If you take a look at some of the services, let's say S3, well, S3 is a global service, is the same service for every region. Even though when you select, S3 is a global service, when you create a bucket, you have to create it in a region, right? But it's a global service, okay? But EC2's charges may not be the same in Northern Virginia as it is in Ohio, for example. That should be these 4 elements: data governance, legal requirements, proximity to customers, service available within the region, and cost. Okay, guys, what are the 4 support plans that we saw this morning? What are the support plans that we saw this morning?
Basic.
Basic.
Developer, business, enterprise.
Basic, developer, business, and enterprise. How much is the price of basic?
Free.
Nothing.
Nothing? Ever? Forever?
No, first year.
year.
For the first year, or
$29 a month.
I'm sorry?
$29 per month.
No, I'm talking about the basic. Is 12 months for free? Are you gonna pay for 12 months, or you will pay if
You exceed the limits of the
correct. You go beyond the limits of the count. Okay? Very important. What is the price of the developer plan per month? $29 a month. What is the cost of the business plan?
$100 per month.
$100 per month. And what is the cost of the enterprise?
Was it 15,000? I remember that.
Yeah, I was going to ask how you don't forget that one, guys. How come you don't forget that one? Okay, so what's special about the enterprise plan? What's special about it? What does he have that the others don't?
The technical support.
The technical support, and what is included in the technical support?
A dedicated TAM.
A dedicated TAM, and TAM stand for
Technical account manager.
technical account manager. And what else is included in that plan that makes it special? There's another person.
The trusted that give recommendations.
Remember that the TAM, he addresses the technical issues. How
The
about
trusted advisor?
no? Trusted advisor is not a person.
No, yeah.
What is the person that addresses the non-technical issues?
Account assistance. Account assistance. No?
It's the concierge.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the guy that addresses the billing issues, things that are not technical. Okay, good. What is the response time? What's the response time for a critical case in the enterprise plan? What's the response time for the critical case?
15 minutes.
15 minutes or less. Okay. What is the only way, or when only can you contact AWS if you are in the developer plan?
By email.
By mail. When? What are the hours?
Business hours.
Only business hours, right? And what is when it comes to opening cases and getting response from AWS, what are the ways that you can contact AWS in business and enterprise plans?
Phone and email.
Phone, email, and
Chat.
chat. And
Yes.
is it business hours?
24/7.
24/7.
24/7. Very good. Very good. How many cases can you open with, or how many people can open a case in the developer plan?
Unlimited.
How many
20?
people in the
20?
developer?
In developer, only one.
Only one person. So it's one primary contact person, right? How about the enterprise and the
Those are unlimited.
developer? How many? Sorry?
Unlimited.
Unlimited cases, unlimited people.
Yeah, not unlimited.
And the developer is unlimited cases, one person. Okay. Very good. Very good. So when it comes to availability zones, every region has availability zones. And remember that Northern Virginia has 6, right? It's the one that has the most availability zones, right? Each availability zone is a fully isolated partition of the AWS infrastructure. Okay. So, right now there's 77 availability zones this is not updated. It's 77, right? And each availability zone is apart. They're separated by around 50 to 60 miles from each other. They're separated for isolation. Okay, that's very important. Now, they have discrete data centers, and the amount of data centers is at least one data center, at least one. Okay, they're designed for fault isolation. They're interconnected with availability zones by using high-speed private networking. They have private links between each other. Okay, private links that only AWS knows, right, or can handle, right? And when you create resources, you choose your own availability zones. If you don't choose one, AWS chooses one for you. Okay, so you have the ability to choose one. Okay. So AWS, like it says here, recommends to replicate the data. It recommends replicating the data and resources across AZs for resiliency, and that makes sense, right? That makes sense. We talked about it before that if you have one availability zone, if it goes down, you lose everything. So you want to have replication in another AZ, so you will be able to fail over, right? To fail over and be able to continue operational, right? Now, go ahead. Go ahead.
Is there a tier requirement for these data centers?
Is there what?
A tier requirement. Tier 1 data center, tier 2, tier 3. Is there a tier requirement?
Not that I know of. You don't choose the data center. You choose the availability zone, and that's it. You don't choose the data center. That doesn't exist. And the data center doesn't have a price. It's the same price for that availability zone for that region. Okay? No matter what data center is. The cost doesn't vary from data center to data center. It varies from region to region. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
So whatever price you have in this region, US 1, would be the same price across that region. And no matter what data center you're using, or no matter what data center is AWS using, because you're not, you don't even know there's a data center behind, because you would never see that. All right? That's something that's AWS's decision, which data center to use, right? We just select the availability zone of that region, 1A, 1B, with C. In the case of Virginia, it has all the way from 1A to 1F, because you have 6 availability zones, right? Now, data centers. These are data centers are designed for security. They are never cold. They're never cold. They're always operational. They're hot, right? They're always ready to receive requests. And that's when actually the data resides. Whatever data you have, guys, on AWS, it resides in that data center that AWS has. Okay. The data center has what every data center that is redundant has. Redundancy, redundant power, networking connectivity, and is housed in a separate facility. Okay. They are inside the availability zone. Okay. And the data center typically has between 50 and 80,000 servers. That's what I mentioned before. Okay. So data centers are securely designed with several factors in mind. For example, each location is carefully evaluated to mitigate environmental risks. Right? They have redundant design that anticipates and tolerates failure while maintaining service levels. So to ensure availability, critical system components are backed up across multiple availability zones. Right? And to ensure capacity, AWS continuously monitors service usage to deploy infrastructure to support availability, commitments, and requirements. Now, the data center location is not disclosed, and all access to them is restricted. So nobody knows where the location of the data center is. Only the employees of the data center. Okay, and I believe that they have to, they have to find and they have to sign a non-disclosure agreement that they cannot tell anybody where those data centers are. In case of failure, automated processes move data traffic away from the affected area to another area that is operational. So as you can see, it's a machinery that is well designed and well thought out. AWS has been in business for 14 years. So they already are seasoned. They're a seasoned company. Now, points of presence. AWS provides a global network of 187 points of presence locations. So Amazon CloudFront is a content delivery network, CDN. Okay, so this is the guy that works with all these points of presence. Now, those 187 points of presence, they consist of 176 edge locations and 11 regional edge caches. The edge locations work with CloudFront to deliver cached information to the customers. Right?
Excuse me, and the difference in another words for edge location and regional edge caches?
Okay, regional edge caches are used by default with Amazon CloudFront. This guy here. What they do, they're used when you have content that is not accessed frequently. And then they will remain in the edge location when they are cached frequently. So edge location is for cache frequently accessed information, and regional edge caches are used to store or to hold the information that is not accessed frequently enough to stay in an edge location. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, thank you. And it's like the difference is the distance, or is that it's more close to the data center? So what is the difference between the
here, edge locations? They are very close to the regional cache. You see here?
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're close. Mm-hmm. So it's just that when it's in a cache location, in an edge location, it means that it's being accessed frequently. Okay, frequently accessed by customers. Now, once it's not frequently accessed as much like before, it's moved to an edge, regional edge cache. Because it's not accessed as frequently as before, so it's moved to that place. Now, this is good because you're saving space. You're not going to keep information that is not accessed frequently in the same place with the one that is accessed frequently. So it's a good way to decouple, separate those two accesses, because one is frequent and the other one is infrequent. So I think it's a smart move what the AWS did, because before this is a pretty new concept. Before they only had edge locations only. And when I say before, I'm talking about probably 7, 8, 9 months before, or maybe last year, December, January this year. They only had edge locations, and now they have regional edge caches that will help you, just offload that burden that the edge locations have,
Yeah, and I think so. I don't know. I have access to one course, AWS Fundamentals of the Amazon. Mm-hmm. And they don't explain the regional air caches. Maybe I'm not updating this material. I think.
Maybe it's not updated yet. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So, Amazon CloudFront works with S3 buckets, right? So that's the origin. That's usually the origin of CloudFront. Then when the customer requests the information from S3, let's say that the customer wants to see an image, right? What happens is that you go through CloudFront. CloudFront, you don't see it. You don't see CloudFront, but behind the scenes, your request is coming through CloudFront, right? CloudFront comes, gets the information from the S3 bucket, gives it to the customer, and at the same time, it puts it in the edge location. So next time when the customer requests the same information, or another customer requests that information, what's going to happen is instead of coming back to S3 bucket, It just gets it from the cache location and gives it to the customers. So you're saving a lot of time there. So the latency is much lower than before. Now, when that information is not frequently accessed, what it does is move to the regional edge caches, okay? And stays there for a while, not for a lifetime, because they have the time to live. When that information becomes stale, it's just removed from that place because nobody's accessing it anymore. All right. So that's how it works, right? So regional edge caches absorb the content and provide an alternative to that content having to be fetched from the origin server. It just gives it an alternative for users that or information that is not accessed frequently to go straight to a place where that information is only and not to one that contains both access frequently and not access frequently. That is a little messy. So why not separate them and then, make it more efficient, right? So all of these guys are used with CloudFront, okay, which is the one that delivers the content to the user with reduced latency. Why? Because it's using either edge locations or regional edge caches. Right. Now, features that this guy has, elasticity and scalability. What is elasticity? Well, elasticity is the ability to grow based on demand or shrink based on demand. So it's like when you get a wristband, and you grab it and you just pull it, and it's elastic, right? And when you let it go, it goes back to the position it was. So you can grow and shrink, okay? And just adapt to the dynamic traffic, right? Dynamic traffic. When there's a lot of traffic, you grow. When there's a lot of, not much traffic, it just shrinks. That's what elastic means. Scalable, it means that it can grow, right? It can adapt and accommodate growth. So elasticity is growth and shrinks, right? Scalability is growth, right? So when you create an application, for example, your application can be scalable. It means that you can continue adding features and features and features and features and features, and it can scale, grow, right? Or when you have to make some changes because there's a new technology and your application depends on that technology, if they make that change, you have to make the change to adapt to that new technology. So you can scale, you can grow, right? Now, fault tolerance is just the capacity and the ability to resist failure and continue being operational. It doesn't matter if you have some hiccups in the way, you can stand up and continue running. So that's where fault tolerance is. And that's when you have separated things in like little pieces of things, or like decoupling your application. So when one component goes down, you still have other components that can continue working without any issues. Okay. So in the presence of failure, you can still be operational, and your application or your business will not suffer that much. Okay. So because it's fault tolerant. Okay. And of course, every component has built-in redundancy. They can replicate, they can just withstand failure. Okay. High availability means that it's going to be available when you need it. That's what it means. It's going to be there when you need it. Okay. You can maintain high level of operational performance. The downtime is going to be minimized because there's something available. When something fails, there's something else available, and then you can minimize the downtime. If you have only one server, right? Only one server, if the server goes down, well, the downtime is going to be from the time that it goes down until the time that you repair it. That's a big, big downtime. When you have two servers, the downtime is only that moment between between the time when that server goes down and the time the other server just starts functioning, starts running. So that failover is that time. Okay, the time is really the downtime is really minimized. It's not as big as having only one server. And of course, this is an automated process. You don't have to do anything. The only thing that you do is before it happens, you will configure everything, and then after that, it's just automated. Okay, you don't have to intervene or interfere with anything. Okay, but don't forget, you have to keep an eye on that. Okay, don't let it just go by itself. Keep an eye on that. Check it every now and then to see that it's properly operating. Okay, so we have here 3 availability zones, right? Sorry, let me go back. And then we have, this is the region, uninterruptible power supply, cooling equipment, backup generators. All of this is working great. Why? Because you have 3 availability zones. You have 3. And every availability zone has 4 data centers, as you can see here, right? 4 data centers. Good. So this is all taken care of because, there's failover here, right? Just in case something happens. If you have only one availability zone, you're doomed. You're just set up for failure. You have to have at least 2 availability zones to be able to be fault tolerant, right, and redundant. Now, the takeaways of this section. Guys, do you have any questions before we see this takeaways? Any questions? Guys, the reason why you see that sometimes this moves is because my mouse is super sensitive, and I touch it and it changes the slide just like that, and I have to be moving.
You go back 1 slide, please.
I'm sorry.
You go back 1 slide. So, you did say that each region has at least 2 data centers, right?
No. I say that every region has at least 2 availability zones. And every availability zone has at least 1 data center.
Okay. Thank you.
That's what AWS recommends, right? It's not what it is. It's what it recommends, right? You can choose 1 availability zone only if you want to, but it's not recommended, right? So it recommended at least 2. Okay, so the AWS infrastructure consists of regions and availability zones. Your choice of region is typically based on compliance requirements or to reduce latency. Each availability zone is typically separated from other availability zones and has redundant power, networking, and connectivity. And edge locations and regional caches improve performance by caching content closer to customers. Okay, just a summary of what we saw. Okay. Now, module 3, section 2 is AWS services and service category overview. Okay, so here we have the services that are part of the foundational part. Okay, so we are in the foundational services. Okay, we're gonna see compute, networking, storage. And compute, we're gonna see virtual automatic scaling and load balancing, networking, storage, object, block, and archive. So when you say object, block, and archive, we're talking about S3, that's the object, Elastic Block Store, EBS, that's the block, and archive is Glacier, okay? Glacier. So we're gonna see those guys. Applications, we have the virtual desktops, collaboration, and sharing, okay? Like collaboration and sharing is kind of a GitHub, things like that, right? And then we have, for databases, we have relational, RDS, NoSQL, DynamoDB, caching, Elastic Cache. Okay. You can have analytic for cluster computing, real time data, data warehouse, data workflows, all of that, right? But that's for more advanced certifications. Okay. So for applications, you can have queuing, that's SQS, simple queue service. You can have orchestration, that's the step functions, right? App streaming, transcoding, that's the transcoder. That's the one that changes one format of videos to another format, right? Video or audio. Email, you have email services, Elastic Simple Email Service, SES, and you also have search, Elasticsearch as well. Containers, containers, ECS, Elastic Container Services, Docker as well. You have DevOps tools like, code commit, code deploy, code build, code pipeline, code start, all those, DevOps tools for developers. Resource templates, we have CloudFormation there. Use tracking, you have like CloudTrail as well. And monitoring and logging, you have S3 buckets and CloudWatch. So we have these guys. Identity, we have IAM Sync, you have AppSync. Mobile analytics as another service, and notifications, we have SNS, simple notification services. Okay, so you have so many services that are just working in harmony in these guys, but we are not going to see all of them. We're going to see relational, NoSQL, and those guys. We're going to see SNS. We're going to see probably some containers, but not many, because this is the foundational part. Okay. And in the infrastructure, we have regions, availability zones, and edge locations. Okay. Now, category services. Okay, cost management, right? Cost management, database management and governance, networking and content delivery, security, identity and compliance, storage and compute. Very simple. If you come here, those are the category services. Okay. Whatever you see there, the ones you see there are here: security, identity, networking and content delivery, database is here, management and governance. So those are category services that you can see in this management console here in the services dashboard, or whatever you want to call it, dashboard, console, or just panel, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so these are the category of services. Good. Storage service categories, we have S3, and that is under storage. If you come here, you see storage here. Okay. We have S3, EFS, FSX. This is for Windows. FXX, this is for Linux. And S3 Glacier, storage gateway. This is a guide that is used for hybrid architectures. This is the guide that extends whatever storage you have in your on-prem. You can extend it to the cloud with this guy, storage gateway. And store AWS backup for backups. Okay. So we have S3, EBS, EFS, and Glacier right here. These guys here. Okay. Of course, we don't see FSX here in the Cloud Practitioner because that's something more advanced. That's for the solutions architect. ESAP. Compute services, we can come here, back here, and see EC2, Lightsail, Lambda, Batch, Elastic Beanstalk, Serviceless Application Repository, AWS Outposts, and EC2 Image Builder. Okay, but we're not going to see all of them. Okay, so we have here EC2, EC2 Autoscaling, Elastic Container Services, ECS, Container Registry, ECR. This is ECR, Beanstalk, Lambda, Kubernetes, which is a Kubernetes service, EKS, right? And Fargate. Okay, Fargate is part of the containers. I see that they, one moment. ESR is right here, ECR, sorry. All right, this is ECR, Elastic Container Registry. This is where you save or you store all the images, the container images, Docker images, right? So if you click here, it's gonna tell you a little about it, okay? So Amazon Elastic Container Registry easily store, manage, and deploy container images. Amazon Elastic Container Registry is a fully managed container registry that makes it easy for developers to store, manage, and deploy container images. Okay, I would say it's similar to an image repository, where it says you pay only for your amount of data you store in your repository and data transfer to the internet. Okay, so you create a repository, right? And then you can store your Amazon, your container images, right? EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, is, you know, that Elastic Kubernetes or Kubernetes is a third-party service, right? But AWS has some functionalities that can support this guy. So EKS is a managed service that makes it easy for you to use Kubernetes on AWS without needing to install and operate your own Kubernetes control plane. So this is something that you have to install in your computer if you're working with Kubernetes. But AWS has it in a way that you don't have to install anything because this guy supports Kubernetes. Okay, great service. So these are the guys that form part of the compute services. From databases, we can go here and check in databases down here. We can have these guys here: RDS, relational databases; DynamoDB, NoSQL database; Elastic Cache. This is for RDS to cache the information that is required, that is requested from RDS. Nettoom it's a graphical database. This guys is quite new. QLDB, DocumentDB. There's another type of databases: key spaces, time streams, and more advanced concepts. The ones that we care about is RDS and DynamoDB and Elastic Cache. Those are the ones that are important. Guys, Nettoom is not part of this course, but Nettoom is in the list that I gave you. Did you guys see the list that I posted on Slack of the services that can be a little confusing and might be in the exam?
Yes.
Here, when you have some time, take a look at these guys. Okay, so
how in depth are we supposed to know these individual services?
I'm sorry.
How in depth are we supposed to know them? Or we just should know that?
No, just know what they're for. Okay, so you can disregard them in exam. If I go to Google Classroom, I think that I posted it. Okay. No. I think I posted it in Google Classroom.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you posted.
It should be either here, somewhere here.
Yeah, you posted it, but the list is not. It's just a list of services. There's no description of each.
No, it's just for you guys to go over them and take a look at them. Okay, all the services. So you can click on these guys. This is the list that I created, right? And these guys, services not seen in depth in class, but will somehow show either on practice exams or the actual exam. Students need to know at least what they are used for. Okay, prepared by me, 2020. So this is something that you guys, was compiled, created from my own exams and my students' exams. Okay, feedback that I got from them, and these guys, they will show in the exam. Okay, now you don't need to know in depth about them, but at least you need to know what they're for. Okay, we're gonna see some of them, but not all of them. And Netune is one of them. See that? Okay? Just guys, type this in Google, and see what they're for. Of course, this one is easy because this is for to send emails, right? But take a look. Amazon gateway, storage gateway is there. What else? Elastic Cache is there. All the DevOps tools are there, right? This is Kinesis. It's a very important service for ingestion of data. Guard Duty is for protection. AWS Shield is for protection as well. Pilot Light is for disaster recovery. Warm Standby is for disaster recovery. Artifact is the one that contains all the reports and compliance of AWS. Amazon Cognito is for web and app applications, web and app mobile applications. Lifecycle policy, this is what S3 uses to move one object from one class to the other. Athena is an interactive query service. Route 53 is the DNS service of AWS. SQS is used for decoupling applications. AWS Glue is used to transform, extract, transform, and load information. EMR, Elastic MapReduce, is used for data, big data. Pinpoint is to send emails that are for marketing. Deep Lens, don't know much about this guy. AWS X-Ray is for serviceless application to know how your services are performing. Snowball is to transfer data and like 100 terabytes to AWS. OpsWorks is for automation. Snowmobile is like Snowball is from the Snow family, but this one is for exabyte, and it's a truck. Batch is for developers to do jobs in batch. Netune is a graphical and so forth. So you can all these step functions is for having an orchestration of different functions at the same time. Amazon Connect is for connecting from on-premise to the cloud. Poly is for Alexa. You can use Poly for text-to-speech. Kinesis for ingestion of data real time. Kinesis Firehose this is for ingestion, and this is for loading it in a S3 bucket. Workmail for mail. Workspaces is like a desktop, but virtually. Lake Formation is for data. Application discovery. You have so many things that you can go over here. And then this is for machine learning. This is a guy for machine learning. You can go over these guys and then take a look at them, just what they're for. Okay. And then you can be better prepared for the exam. So the exam is a mean exam. It's not something that is to become friends with you. It's just to confuse you, to give you things, and to make you analyze. And you don't want to be surprised. So take a look at those guys. Take a look at those guys when you have time. It was posted on November 1st, right? There's some comments here. Who commented that? There's some guys here. Very important, And guys, you're gonna have exams. I think that for today, you're gonna have an exam. It's gonna be scheduled for 4 p.m. today. Take a look at it. There are gonna be some resources as extra resources for you. There's gonna be video assignment fundamentals of AWS pricing, and there's gonna be another one for you, AWS infrastructure. This is an assignment and video assignment about the AWS Global Infrastructure. So you're gonna be receiving things every single day. Especially Saturdays, right? But there are gonna be some assignments that are gonna be sent to you like every day. We have practice exams that are gonna start on November 29. You're gonna have an exam per day until we get to December 11 before we finish the class on the 12th. An exam every day. You're gonna have some papers here, some white papers that were posted on the 3rd. And you're gonna have different on the 21. You're gonna get this guy. I prepared this class really, really carefully for you guys to understand. number 14, 21, 28. You're gonna get a lot of information here, right? And then you're gonna final assessment on December 5th at 4 p.m. I'm gonna have that assignment. It's gonna be a little earlier in the course, not on the 12th, because you're gonna have a lot of things to do before then, like all of these practice exams and the ones that we're gonna do in class as well. Okay. So
So,
you're gonna,
I'm sorry. You said the time at 4 p.m. Will it start at 4 p.m. or will it be available starting at 4 p.m.?
it's gonna be available at 4 p.m.
Okay.
Everything that is available here, as soon as it becomes available, you'll be sent an email, and it will tell you that Denise Gaetano or whatever would say that I assigned or I posted a new assignment. Okay? So you get an email, you click on the link, and then it would take you to where the link is, where the resources. Okay. So for networking, we have VPC, which is Virtual Private Cloud. Okay. Very important concept, right? Elastic load balancing. This is the guy that will load the balance, all the traffic, will balance the load for traffic. Amazon CloudFront is the network content delivery.
Question.
Yes,
Did you skip some slides?
Did I? Well, I think that I was here, and then I was here, and I jumped to the service, and I talked about these guys that we're gonna see, which is the same as this, right? Well, Redshift is not here because Redshift is a data warehouse, right? So maybe they separated it. They made the console new. All of this view is different, okay? But Redshift is the data warehouse, which is part of the database system, okay? Let me see if I can find it here. They keep changing this content constantly. Okay? It's right here. So it's under analytics. Let me just make it favorite here. Okay. This guy. Aurora is one of the engines that RDS supports. This guy supports 6 database engines. Aurora is proprietary of AWS. It's the only one that belongs to AWS. If I just click on RDS here, right? Now RDS, one moment. I come here and then I decide to create a database. Then I have the 6 engines here, okay? Aurora, MySQL, MariaDB, Postgres, Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, those are the 6 engines that RDS supports. So Aurora is treated separately because Aurora belongs to AWS. These guys are Microsoft and Oracle. Okay, and MariaDB. MariaDB is a community-developed, commercially supported fork of MySQL relational database management system, intended to remain free and open source software under the general public license. The developer is MariaDB Corporation, AB, and MariaDB Foundation. The operating system is Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. Okay, the license is written in C, C++, Perl, and Bash. Okay, so these guys are, Microsoft, these guys Oracle, and these guys from the MariaDB Corporation, MariaDB Foundation. Okay, but these guys belongs to AWS. That's why it's treated separately. They don't mention any other engine here. They just mention Aurora. Right. Now, AWS Content Delivery Services, we have VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. We have elastic load balancing. Like I said, they balance the load between servers. We have Amazon CloudFront, okay? AWS Transit Gateway, which is very, very, very useful when it comes to connecting Amazon VPCs, okay? These guys, like, it acts like a, I would say like a hub, you know, like a hub that has like ports of things that you can plug in, and then you can make everything communicate, okay? Similar. Amazon S3, it's just the DNS service, the domain name service of AWS. That's why it is called Route 53. 53 is the port that DNS uses, and route is just because it's a highway. It's like a highway. That's why this is the icon for that. AWS Direct Connect is a way to connect from your on-prem to the AWS cloud without using the internet. So you don't have to traverse the internet. It's a dedicated line for you using fiber optic. Okay, it's somehow costly, but it is private and very secure. Just the fact that it doesn't use the internet makes it more secure than VPN. Okay, VPN, a virtual private network, is another way to connect from the on-premise to AWS cloud, but in this case we have to use the internet. Okay, that's another way to connect, and that makes it cheaper than direct connect. Security, identity, and compliance service. We have IAM here, which is a very heavy-duty service that's gonna be there forever more. These guys will never disappear as long as you're alive, as long as AWS keeps it. It will always be there for everything. It's integrated with most services in AWS. Okay? Remember that's the guy that enables you to manage access to AWS services and resources securely. Okay? You can create and manage users and groups. You can use AM permissions to allow or deny user and group access to AWS resources, right? Organizations, they help you organize your account. You know, they allows you to restrict what services and actions are allowed in your account. Amazon Cognito, it lets you add users sign up, sign in, you know, and access control to your web and mobile apps. That's the guy that, you know, authenticates users, right? AWS Artifact is the one that provides on-demand access to AWS security and compliance reports and select online agreements. If you take a look at the console here, right? We can come here back to this guy. And then if you click Artifact, just select this one. You can see all the reports here, view reports. You know, AWS has to be compliant to with higher up, organizations higher up, they have to be compliant, right? So these are the reports. You can view the agreements, right? Account agreements, right? You can have organization agreements, okay? You know, AWS organizations, Australian notification data breach, addendum, things like that, you know? And this is the guy where you can see the reports with PCI, you know, if they're compliant, okay? Let me read something, find something here. Maybe, let me just look for PCI. Okay. So this is the most recent AWS PCI. This is for credit cards, guys, credit cards. 3DS assessment package dated October 15, 2020. An external qualified security assessor company, Coalfire System Inc., has validated that AWS has successfully completed the PCI Core Security Standard V version 1.0 assessment and were found to be compliant. Okay, so the artifact is the place where you can find the reports to see that AWS remains in compliance. Okay. So this certification issued by an independent third-party auditor validates that AWS complies with the ISO 27018 implementation guidance of controls applicable to public cloud personally identifiable information PII protection that supplement the ISO 27002 guidance and the ISO 27001 standard. Okay, and that was about a year ago. So guys, this is, things that AWS has done to stay compliant. They have to validate that, that they have the resources and they have these services that are secure when it comes to, the customer's information. And that's the place, the artifact. Right? AWS Keys Management Service, this works with keys, with, in this case, KMS works with symmetric encryption. It's only one key to encrypt and the same key to decrypt, right? And AWS Shield, this is for protection against DDoS, distributed denial of service attacks, and it has two flavors. It has the basic, the standard, and the advanced. The standard comes with the account, it's for free, with the 12 months free, and the advanced, you have to pay for it. Okay. Now the AWS Cost Management Services, we have AWS Cost and Usage Reports. We saw that already. We have AWS Budgets, and we have AWS Cost Explorer. So we saw that already this morning. AWS Management and Governance Services. Okay, so we have AWS Management Console, right? The console is this, guys. This is the console, right? We have AWS Config. This is the guy that has to do with configuration changes, right? So whenever there's a configuration change, this guy will let you know about it. And this is the guy that, when you can create rules. What is this? What happened here? This was different. Oh my God. I'm in Seoul. It's a different region. Okay, let me just see. You see, I found it weird that why do I have nothing here? Yes, I have things here in my Northern Virginia. I create a rule, and then the rule is for ACM. Just I don't have any certificate, right? But I'm just checking here. That's why we don't have any result. But probably you want to check what port is open, right? And then it will tell you what port is open. It would just tell you what service is in compliance and what service is not in compliance, and then remediation actions. Okay, so maybe you want to create a rule, and then you want to probably just check here, maybe port, right, and VPC security group open only to authorized ports, restricted common ports. For this guy, maybe I can select that. Rule parameters describe attributes to which your resources are evaluated. For example, a required tag or S3. Block port 120, block port 122, block port 123, or maybe if I put here probably 22, right? And remediation action, maybe I can say send me a text, right? Or an email, right? Maybe I can save this, and then every parameter has either a static value or dynamic value. Okay. Okay. No, I'm not gonna do this now, guys. You know, I don't have time for this now. what you can know, you should have to know, is that this guy is the one that checks if, you know, the common ports that are restricted, if you left it open. If you leave it open, right? If you leave it open and then you check, it would check if it is open or closed to be in compliance. If you open 22, right, and that is select here as a restricted port, then it will tell you you're not in compliance. Okay, right? So now it's evaluating here. It's evaluating. Let me probably create an EC2 instance and open port 22. Okay, so I don't have any instance running here. Let me just create an instance and let's see what happens. Okay. Let me select an existing guy here. Let me see, this one has port 22 open here. So I'm gonna launch it. I'm not gonna use it. Well, let me use a key. Choose an existing key, this key here. And then I just do that, okay? So my instance has been launched, right? And now I wanna see what's going on here. I'm gonna come back to config, right? And then I will check here that it says configure rule compliance, 19 not compliant resources, and probably there are security groups. Look at this, perfect. Security groups, they don't have the 22, they have the 22 port open, okay? So it's just working here, okay? It's telling me that this guy has a port 22 open. If I check this guy, you know, if I go to this guy and try to see it, what is it? What's the name? Launch Wizard 7. Launch Wizard 7. Let me take a look at that. If I come here to security group, Launch Wizard 7, it's right here, this guy here. I click on that and I see port 22 open. All right. So this is the guy that tells me you are not compliant, you are compliant. I'm not compliant here. Okay, so now if I delete those security groups that have 22 open, okay, and I have a bunch of security groups, what is this? Let me see if I can delete some of them. Maybe not this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Let me see if I can delete these guys. Okay, security groups. Okay, actions, delete security group. Would not be deleted. This is the default group. Okay, will be deleted. Okay, delete. Okay, so I delete some of them. I can continue deleting here. Let me delete this guy, this guy, this guy. Probably this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. My God, I have so many security groups here. And I'm not deleting anyone. Now let's see. I have a bunch of them that will be deleted, but the other ones will not. Because they have a dependency, that's why. Somehow they have a dependency. Okay, now I have these guys here. So let me check this guy if I have port 22 open. This one has port 22 open. Inbound rules. No, this one is fine. Okay, how about this one? I have two selected. Okay, that's why. Okay, this one, no. The second one, no. The third one, no. The fourth one, no. The fifth one, yes. So this guy, let me just remove the inbound rule that has SSH, and then save it. Okay, so now I continue with this one. Let's see this one now. No, I'm okay with this one. This one, I'm fine with this one. This one. Oh, it has that one too. I will delete it.
What are we checking for?
I'm just deleting the security groups that have open port 22, and then now it will tell me that I'm compliant because I just listed that port as restricted. Okay. Now, when I delete those security groups and I just refresh this, I still not compliant because probably have other guys. Okay. Let me see here. What do I have here? Oh, because I have 3336. So I need to edit this guy. And then I'm going to just keep it for 22, right? 22 only, right? And now I'm going to save it. And that will evaluate that. Okay. So now I can just reevaluate. Let's see what happens. You can click refresh the page. It still says parameter null, null, null. Okay. Reevaluate. We're able to complete this website. Okay, try again later. Okay. Still not compliant. This is the security group that is not compliant. Let me take a look at this guy. And what is the name? What is the ending 4911? Okay, let me go back to 4911. Is that, look at this guy? He has port 80. Yeah, but that's not the one that why it says not compliant. Did I put port 80 somewhere? It's just port 22. Okay, so if I just do this. Okay, let me see here. So basically what I'm doing is just, making sure that that particular security group doesn't have port 22 open. Okay, so let me remove this guy. And then, right, inbound rules. And then I will save. So that's the guy that tells you if your resources are compliant. Okay, good. So now I can take a look at that. And then if I just come back to the rule resources, and now I take a look at the rule, right? Okay, rule here, compliant. You see, compliant. So I don't have any issues now. Guys, do you understand my point? My point here? Are you guys understanding my point?
I think so.
Okay. I created a rule that tells me restricted common ports. I gave it a port 22. So that port is restricted in my account. If someone opens that port, config will tell me that I'm not compliant. And then I can check my security groups and tell me, and then I can remove those ports and just close them, right? And that can be compliant. Me as an organization, I determine that port 22 cannot open under any circumstances, right? But some of my employees, they're not complying with my rules as a business owner, right? And they're leaving port 22 open, right? Then I can check, I can just let with config can let me know through an email. Let me see if I can get email here. Okay. It didn't send me an email. It didn't send me an email, but I can let config let me know when someone opens a port that is restricted. Okay. It will not stop you from creating it for opening it, right? For opening it. But it will tell me later that someone opened this. Okay? So it will tell me that any configuration changes, it will let me know. Okay. That's config. Amazon CloudWatch is for monitoring, right? AWS Auto Scaling is for creating or decreasing the number of servers. Command line, CLI. AWS Trusted Advisors for recommendations. The well-architected tool is a tool, you guys, for that will help you architect your infrastructure much better. Have a better architecture. And AWS CloudTrail is the one that tells me, is someone logged in, when they did it, how they did it, what they use. So it's for tracking, okay? CloudTrail is for tracking. So I can just click CloudTrail and take a look at the event history here. In the event history, I can see that I create a config rule. You see there? The root account, that's me. And it was on November 7 at 2:43 UTC. Right now, what time is it? It's 2:54. So I did it like 10 minutes ago. Okay? Now, I just enabled AWS Service Access. I created a role. I attached policy. I logged in probably somewhere here. I created an organizational unit. That was this morning, remember? I created organizational units. I just associate instance, IAM instance profile. I start automation execution. I created a budget. That was this morning, don't forget. Things that I deleted file system because I thought that probably I might be charged for that. I stopped an instance that I left open yesterday or available. I left it running yesterday. I logged in today at 8:53 p.m. before the class started. So, guys, it will tell me who did it, when it was, and what was done. Okay? So, this is the guy, the gossiper. This is the snitch. This is the rat. This is the guy that will tell the owner of the account, this is what is happening. I don't have a friend. Everybody's my enemy. I don't care. I tell you. Please keep me in your account. Don't delete me. I will tell you everything you need to know. Okay? This is the guy that is watching everybody at any time. No matter where it is, it's 24/7, 365. It will tell you what's going on. Okay? That's CloudTrail. Okay? CloudTrail is for auditing, governance, and compliance. Don't confuse this one with this one. CloudWatch is for monitoring and automation. Okay? Don't forget that.
So CloudTrail, is that like the base? You get it for free or you have to pay for that?
By default, event history is for free. Event history, I don't pay a cent for this. But if you create a trail, you're going to be charged for that. Okay? A trail. I wonder, let me see here. An S3 bucket? No. I deleted that S3 bucket. Okay, that's okay. So because, when you create a trail, right, you can save your logs in an S3 bucket. Okay, so if we create an S3 bucket for you, you can use an existing one and give it a name here. You just type the name of any bucket here that you have, you know. And it will log that whenever you want. Okay. If I create a new one, this is going to be the name of that bucket. Okay. So you can enable CloudTrail for every single account in your organization. You can enable those logs, just encrypt them. Okay. You can use customer managed CMA new or existing. You can give it an alias. Log file validation, just to make sure that no one touches those files, and you want to enable that file validation. Maybe you want to get an email, right? You know, when something happens, you can enable CloudWatch logs. Maybe you want to have logs and put them in the log group. Okay. You can have some tagging here and just hit next, and that's going to be charged. Let me take a look here. How much do you get charged, or are you charged for trails in CloudTrail? Okay, so CloudTrail pricing. So your AWS account has one CloudTrail trail. The trail is configured to capture management events and CloudTrail Insights events and deliver them to the S3 bucket that you define. You pay the S3 bucket storage cost for these events. You do not pay for managing events because the first copy of management events is free. However, for CloudTrail Insights, you pay 35 cents per 100,000 write management events that are analyzed in the trail, because all copies of CloudTrail Insights events incur charges. Okay. So the event history, it's free. Okay. But you have Insights events. Okay. You're gonna be paying for that. Okay. Pricing, it's right here. Same thing. You can view, filter, and download the most recent 90 days of your account activity for all management events in supported AWS service free of charge. Okay. You can set up a tray that delivers a single copy of management events in each region free of charge. Okay. But now, when you start storing information in an S3 bucket, then is when you begin to be charged. Okay. Now, CloudTrail Insights events are charged 35 cents per 100 write management analyzed. Okay. If CloudTrail Insights detects unusual activity, it delivers an Insights events to you. Okay. So Insights is when it, there's unusual activity, it would deliver an Insights event to you. Okay. And Insights events are 35 cents per 100,000. So guys, how many Insights events you have to have before you get charged 35 cents? 100,000, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. These are in unusual activities. Okay, so if your activities are usual, you're not going to receive any Insight events. All right. Yes. All right. So you guys understand the difference between Amazon CloudWatch and Amazon and AWS CloudTrail? Yes?
Yes.
It's important you understand the difference because they start with cloud, and sometimes people confuse them. CloudWatch, CloudTrail,
Can we query event logs on CloudTrail through the CLI?
Actually, the CloudTrails will be saved in an S3 bucket. Okay, And once they're in a S3 bucket, you can see the content from the CLI. You can see the bucket, but this is the guide that is used for that. Athena. Athena is the guide that is used for that because it's an interactive query, SQL query service. Okay, this is like a table that you can create and just bring the information from an S3 bucket, right? And then deliver this as a table, okay? As a table. Can you see CloudTrail logs using the AWS CLI? CloudTrail. I believe you can do it.
Information about the trail, right? Not
Yeah,
necessarily.
that gives you, that gives you return settings information for a specific trail, setting information, not the trail. It will give you the structure of the trail, right? But
So
I don't
everything table that we saw once we created the trail, everything on that table, right? Like the time that it was created, the S3 that you're storing in, all that.
No, I don't think it's going to give you probably the ID, the name, the name, the S3 bucket that it's using, the prefix, the topics that it's using, but it's not going to give you the trail because the trail is very, very, very important. And they're not just going to give it to you through the CLI. I don't think so. I've never done it, but I don't think so. Because remember, trails are saved for compliance of the company, for auditing. I don't think, guys, if someone gets a hold of your AWS access keys, they can see whatever they want, right? And if they can see your logs, you will see, because according to this, it gives you the settings. It returns the settings information for a specific trail. The settings information is just the general information, like the output is the name of the trail, the S3 bucket that is using, the S3 key prefix, if there's any folder that you're using. The SNS topic is the one that sends you the email if something happens. The SNS topic ARN, the Amazon resource name. If it is a multi-region trail, it's a Boolean, true or false. The home region, the trail ARN, it has an ARN like identifier. Log validation, if it is yes or no, true or false. Remember, when I created the trail, I have a choice to choose if I enable log validation. Like here, trail, create trail, I have it here. Log validation, enable or not enable. So that's going to give me true if I get this guy. Okay. What else? Where is it? Is it here? Where is it? Where did I put it? Okay. So it's going to give me the CloudWatch logs group ARN. All of this is part of this guy here. It's part of that. CloudWatch logs, optional, enable, not enable, right? So, the KMS key ID has customer event selectors. It's just the general settings of this, but I don't think, and I can say that I'm sure that they will give you the logs through the CLI. I've never seen that in my life. I don't think they're going to give it to you. Okay? So those logs are important, super important. If it is logging of like what happened in the system that someone, I don't know, this was upgraded or something that's not important, but the trails, all the event history of that trail, well, you can try, but I don't think that it's going to happen. Amazon, is there something that Amazon takes really seriously? is security. And that's part of the security. Okay. So the click-through, we've done it many times, right? Okay. Now, this is a hands-on activity here, AWS Management Console. Launch the sandbox hands-on environment and connect to the AWS console. Click the AWS console. Click on service menu. Guys, you know how to do these already, right? So notice how services are grouped into service categories. For example, EC2 service appears in the compute service category. Question 1, under which category does the IAM service appear? Just go to your account, and just try to find that in the service section. Okay. Okay. So there's going to be the questions for that. So we have the first question here. Under which category does the IAM service appear? Can someone tell me?
Security, identity, and compliance.
Security, identity, and compliance. That's the answer of that. Okay. So question number 2. Under which service category does the Amazon VPC network service appear?
Networking, content, and delivery.
Networking and content delivery. Does the subnet that you selected exist at the level of the region or the level of the availability zone?
I think the subnet is on the
Ability of the zone.
Availability zone?
I think it's in the region, because the region may
Availability zone.
Okay, we have the region, then inside we have the availability zones, and then inside you have the subnets.
Okay.
So it is at the subnet level. Okay, so the subnet exists at the level of the availability zone. Okay, so you may have different subnets there. A public one is, it's a private one, but the subnet exists at the level of the availability zone, not the region. They are inside the availability zones. Does the VPC exist at the level of the region or the level of the availability zone?
That's the one that is the region.
That's the one that is the region, because availability zone is inside the VPC, right? So the VPC will be at the region level, okay? So let me just real quick, give you an image of a VPC. Okay, let's have image here, and let's see a VPC. Okay, maybe something like this. Okay, so you have here AWS. Okay, AWS. But this one, I don't like this one. Oh, this one is better. All right, so you have the region here. You see, this is the AWS cloud. Okay, that's the big one, right? Everything is inside. You have the region. Then inside the region, you have the VPC. That's why the VPC is at the region level. Then inside the region, you have the availability zone, right? And then you have the subnet inside the availability zone. That's why the subnet is at the availability zone level. Okay? Subnet here, and availability zone 2. And then you have the VPC that spans across 2 availability zones. Okay? Because a VPC can span across multiple availability zones. Right? And then you have the region, which is the outer section here. And then you have the cloud, which is the big AWS thing. Okay. So the answer is at the region level. Okay, good. Question number 5. Which of the following services are global instead of regional? Check Amazon EC2, IAM, Lambda, and Route 53. How about EC2?
No.
Regional.
Huh?
Regional.
Yes.
Regional?
No.
Correct.
No.
Correct. EC2 is regional. Remember, when you select an AWS, you create an AWS guy, an EC2 guy, you always have the region here. You see the region? It's a regional service, right? It's a regional service. If you create one in Northern Virginia, you cannot see it. You see, I have one in Northern Virginia. You see here? If I just move to Ohio, right? I don't see anything. It's gone. Why? Because this is Ohio. It's a different region. It's US East 2. And right now I am in US East 1. This is where EC2 is, the instance, right? Now let me delete it, by the way. I don't want to incur any charges here. No, I don't want to stop it. I want to terminate it. Okay. So now it's terminated. So how about IAM? Is IAM a regional service?
Global.
That's
It's a
global.
global service. No matter where you are, no matter where you are, right? When you click on IAM, right, you will be able to see that it's a global service. It's for your entire account. It's a global service, right? How about Lambda?
I think also regional.
Lambda is a regional service too. If I click here, Lambda, you see Lambda here, regional, right? You see the bunch of Lambdas that I have here. If I click on Ohio, I don't have anything. So Lambda is just like EC2. It's a regional service and it's a compute service like AWS, but it's serverless. It's a serverless compute service. Okay. And finally, how about Route 53? Route 53.
Region?
Global.
It's a global service. Route 53 and CloudFront are the guys that work in another dimension, and this is the global dimension. Okay, so if I take a look, you see here, IAM and Route 53 are global, Amazon EC2 and Lambda are regional. Okay, CloudFront is global, IAM is global, Route 53 is global, S3 is global, but it's debatable because when you select, you create an S3 bucket here. Let me click here on S3, right? When I create an S3 bucket, I see here that it's global, right? You see global. But when you create the bucket, you have to create it in a region, okay? But it's a global service because it can be accessed from anywhere in the world, okay? So if I create a new bucket, first thing that I have to do here is just put the name there, and then you have to choose the region where I want the bucket, okay? So the bucket is gonna be in one region, but it's a global service right here. See, S3 does not require region selection, right? Kind of confusing, eh? Because you have to select the region here, okay? But it's not, it doesn't show in a specific region. Even if I have a bucket that is in a region, when I click on the bucket, right? And this bucket is from Northern Virginia, still it shows global here, right? So it doesn't matter what region you select, okay? It's still global. Okay, so guys, before you just go with the module wrap up, do you guys understand what we covered today?
Yes.
Do you think that you learned something today?
Yes,
sir.
sir.
But by the way, Professor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to expand too much on time, but I created a bucket for a trail for logging with CloudTrail, and I created one for config.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I wanted to query those, I would have to use Athena, correct?
You can use Athena. That's right.
When I started with Athena, it asks me to select a metadata storage system. And so I don't know if that will incur in cost, right? When I go and get started, and I select to connect a data source,
Mm-hmm.
it asks me, hey, what's your data source? I'm like, okay, I want to query data in S3 and then choose my metadata catalog. So I can choose AWS Glue or Hive. But I don't know if it's going to charge me if I select either.
remember that you are in a free tier, and a free tier has limits. You have to check the limits. What AWS Glue will charge you, if it is including the free tier, how much you can do, how many requests. Because Glue, what it does is an ETL service. It will extract the information from the S3 bucket. It will transform the information, and it will load it again. Because it's, sometimes you have information from an S3 bucket and it's not organized. It's very messy. So Glue is the guy that transforms it and puts it back in another bucket. More transformed and beautiful in a table that is beautiful. You don't need Glue for that. You can do it with Athena only. Glue is an extra service that is used for, for data, for big data.
It is actually asking me, I don't know if it's because I'm selecting to connect to data source. I can share my screen real quick if you want.
Go ahead.
All right, thanks. All right, let me drag my stuff up here. All right, good. Okay, so I'm here on Athena, and it's defaulted into AWS data catalog and then sample database. Now I want to query data on those S3 buckets. Before you run your first query, you need to set up a query result location. Oh, okay, so I hadn't seen this. Okay, query result buckets folder. So I don't really know what this is doing. If it's creating a separate bucket. Let me see if I can find, I'm gonna use the one that I have. It doesn't really, so I have to copy the URL from
that's bucket. It says query results bucket. That's another bucket that is gonna create. Click on the icon, it says just this can be the path, okay? This can be the path to a bucket or a folder. For example, my folder, okay? Yes, that will be a different bucket, probably one that is, yeah, where the query location is going to be stored. You want to encrypt them?
I always want everything encrypted.
Okay. What other options do you have there?
Because I don't want to go through the whole.
Yeah. You can just invalid location. You forgot to put the / after the column. Validate 3 folder location.
Well, that doesn't exist though, so I don't know if, because I thought that I could create it through here, but if not, I'll have to just use.
No, you have to create the bucket. All right, I'm gonna just post on Slack a little video that says how to use SQL to query S3 buckets with Athena. And then you can watch that video.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, and that's gonna help you because we're almost done with the class. Yeah, and you can, that's what I do. I will always watch videos and that helps a lot. I posted on the main channel.
Cool, thank you. Oh, and I had a question about the labs that I posted on Slack too. I wanted to know when are they open?
When do we get access to the labs? Well, as you have access already.
If I go,
you have to go to Canvas, right?
Where?
Okay, let me see one moment. Do you guys get access to Canvas? I think I gave you access to Canvas, right?
No, I didn't receive anything.
Okay, one moment. Let me check.
Canvas is AWS, right?
Yeah, let me check something here.
Yes, you did. It's on
AWS here. One moment. Canvas.
I thought it was on AWS Academy.
That is correct. AWS Academy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I put here Cloud Foundation, right? Cloud Foundation. I said people here, people, and I see that I sent guys. I sent you the information. It's right here.
Right. No. I have access to the course there, and I've been doing the work.
So you click on modules, right? And then the modules have the labs. If you scroll down, the first lab is on module 3. not module 4, I'm sorry. Module 4 is when the first lab occurs. Right now,
excuse me, when did you send the access? Because I didn't receive one, I didn't see it.
I was last Saturday.
Okay.
Let me see. What's your name?
Eliana Lopez.
Eliana Lopez. Lopez Eliana. It's still pending.
Oh, okay, I didn't see anything.
Check your email.
Okay.
And there
Maybe can you resend? I don't know if it's in.
Can you please check the email, because this doesn't fail. It would be there, because I mean, we have to delete the user and add it again. It should be in your spam folder or somewhere.
Let me check.
Yeah. The email that you guys provided.
It's asking me to log in to provide some credentials once I click on the labs.
I don't know.
I'm also seeing a message about cookies, so it's probably something related.
Yeah, that's supposed to work when you once you're inside, you're gonna be able to see the lab. Guys, is anyone else having an issue when you go to module 4 and then you click on this guy? And then you're sent to Vocarion. Vocarion is the system that you can see your labs there. Vocarion. Okay. But we're not gonna have.
I haven't received any notification for that particular access. And I saw my user still pending. My name is Silva.
Okay.
I found my invitation in my mail.
You found it? Okay, good.
Yeah,
it
I found
it. It should be there somewhere. I mean, it's there. It has to be there. Okay. So, what's your name again?
Silva Jorge.
Oh, Jorge Silva. Okay, Jorge. Let me see here. Jorge, I sent it to your hotmail.com message.
Okay, I'm gonna check again. Thank you.
And by the way, guys, if you haven't provided a Gmail to me, you will not receive all the notifications and announcements from Google Classroom. You will not, because Google Classroom doesn't work with any email except for Gmails. So I sent an email last week, and I sent a form. Please provide me with especially for those who provided a Yahoo. For example, let me tell you the names. Alejandro Marmol, I need your Gmail. Gibson St. Pierre, I need your email. Jorge, I need your Gmail. Who else?
Oh, Professor, I just sent you to Slack. I sent you my Gmail account.
Okay.
So you can check it.
Yeah,
Professor, I am confused because I create a Gmail account. I received the email, but then I can use my Yahoo account, and I am
what Yahoo account?
using everything. It's working for me.
Okay, Google Classroom. I'm talking about Google Classroom.
Yeah, Google Classroom. I am using it with Yahoo because the other email that I create and I provide you is not working.
Email? What's your email?
I have to Eliana Lopez Silva. That is okay, and I am working with this.
Eliana, you're using for Google Classroom your Gmail, because I sent you an invitation to Gmail. Google Classroom will never let you send an invitation for any email except for Gmail. It would not let you. It will tell you cannot send an invitation.
It's rare because I am in the Google Classroom with the Yahoo.
I send it to you. Well, I send it to your Gmail.
Okay. Yeah, I received in the box, and I am using the Yahoo because the other is not working. But it's working for me with the Yahoo.
Okay, good. So I need your email if Gregory Whitley is here, and also Alexi Aguilar. I need your Gmail as well. Yeah. Everybody else has a Gmail account. Okay. So good. So I think that we're good. Let me see, Jorge. I'm going to send you an email right now, Jorge. I'm going to include you in Google Classroom.
Thank you, Professor. I just have the access to the AWS Academy, so I'm good with that one.
Yeah, this should be there. You can go ahead, guys, and do the lab for Module 4, but we haven't done Module 4 yet. We're going to do it next Saturday. So We still have nine more classes. Okay, no, nine more. Sorry, we still have 5 more because it's 7 classes. Okay, so I'm going to send you that right away, George. And 1 moment here. Sorry. There you go. The invitation is on its way. Now, if I try to, for example, if I try to add, let's say a Yahoo account, it doesn't let me. Well, actually, it sends it, but you will not be able to log in with a Yahoo account unless there's something weird there. Okay. Or, okay. So that's it, guys. I think that, I mean, we covered a lot today. Don't forget to do the knowledge check. Go to Canvas, and Canvas on the modules, right? And on the modules, you can see that, you know, we're gonna answer this question now. You can see on the modules that you have the knowledge check for number 1, number 2, and 3. Okay.
Yes, I don't have Canvas access.
Okay, what's your name?
Trasta Desir.
Okay, let me see. How do you spell your name?
Theresta.
This one? Okay.
Yes.
There's an invitation sent to you, Spending. Spending, check your email. Should be there somewhere.
Which email was it sent to?
It was sent to terestad@gmail.com.
Okay, all right. Which inbox is this?
So, guys, which component of the AWS Global Infrastructure does Amazon CloudFront use to ensure low latency delivery?
Okay. Here we go.
What's the answer for this one?
The B is locations.
Edge locations. Makes sense, right? Okay.
B is the answer.
Is the answer, right?
B as in boy.
Oh, you said B? Oh, yes, yes. Okay, good. So, guys, I think that, you know, we covered today a lot, right? So this was module 3, right? So next week we're gonna cover module 4 and 5, and if you want to go ahead and do lab for more module 4, go ahead, be my guest. But we're not gonna cover module 4 until next week. Okay. All the labs are open. If you want to go ahead and do them, you know, be my guest as well. It doesn't matter. All of them are open. If I click here on module 4 in the lab, right? Then I can see that everything is open. You see, when you see here unpublished, it means that it's published. Unpublished, all of them are unpublished. So you can easily do whatever you want here. I recommend do them when the time comes. Okay, not now. But if you want to do it, be my guest. I'm not opposed to that. All right. So guys, thank you for participating and being so patient. And I promise I will see you next Saturday. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be available throughout the week. Just send me a text or send me a Slack, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
I would like to clarify. We have the quiz on the Google Classroom for this week, and we have to do something on Canvas. I only check the information. I would have to run any.
Okay, you are supposed to do knowledge check 1, and
Okay.
I'm sorry, knowledge check 3, which is for module 3. So if you come here, where it says modules, go back to module 3. Here, module 3, you can do the knowledge check here.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect.
Labs, you don't need to do any until,
Yeah,
until next week.
okay, perfect. Thank you.
So guys, take care. Have a great weekend and study, study, study.